David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. Listen, it's no secret that I love James Bond, but maybe even more than James Bond, the character, I love James Bond cars. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the artistry. Maybe it's the way they sound. Maybe it's the way it makes a James Bond feel to be in close proximity to the James Bond cars. But then, some people can sit there and adore them like me from afar. And then there are some that just want to take the experience one step further. And one of my friends did just that. And we're going to tease it out today like you wouldn't believe. So let me welcome back to the show after a little hiatus, Jorrit from James Bond Nederland. Hey, man, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing great. It's so good to see you again.
Likewise. It's been a long time, but
here
we are.
And it's so funny too. Whenever I have you on the show, it always seems like you've done something amazing. I have a little bit of jealousy, if I'm being honest. but the thing that you do that I love, well, two things actually, and I think this is about not just you, but James Bond Netherlands, and we're going to talk about that in a second, is number one, you bring so many incredible experiences. If we can't experience them, you bring them to us and you're sharing them with the rest of the world. But the other thing I've got to tell you, and I don't think I've ever told you this, but I believe that you really share positivity. Like all of the things that you do and say with James Bond Nederland is about lifting people up and being positive. Is that something you're passionate about?
Absolutely. It's a thing to do. We do this together. We are Bond aficionados, as I like to call them, together. And the experience to celebrate our fandom together is one of the things that I really love. So you're right.
It's true. It's true. Now, a quick question for you is that something that you've done, talk to us. What is James Bond Nederland? I mean, how do you break it down?
Well, James Bond Netherlands is almost 20 years old now. Started in 2006 with a buddy of mine. We went to the premiere of Casino Royale, not on the red carpet, but we stood near the fences and we saw all the stars. And then it's just a passion project with a couple of guys celebrating James Bond and bringing it beyond.
I love that. And beyond is the way you've brought this video, which, by the way, the video itself, we have a link down below that can show this. And depending on when you're seeing this, the premiere is going to be a day after I put this up. So this is the ultimate premiere and tease of the video. You won't see the whole thing today, but before we actually break down what exactly you and your team have done, should we watch a little clip of the experience that you've created?
Let's go. Let's start those engines.
Let's take a look. Hold on a sec.
Let me tell you more about those three beautiful Aston Martins in front. The Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Beautiful car. It's a naturally aspirated V8 engine. It's put out 380 horsepower. Let's continue our tour. This is the Aston Martin V8 Vantage Roadster. It's a cabriolet version of the V8. It's the same performance figures, but it's completely different because it's a topless car. Driving to the French Riviera is something that I really love to do with this thing, and she's an absolute beauty. But the Aston Martin DBS V12 is placed in the middle for a reason. It's a James Bond car. It featured in Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace. It's easy to say that this is a DB9 on steroids. It's a completely different car. Let's look at the front splitter and the side skirts and the ducktail spoiler. But it's time to make a decision. Which one to pick? I really like the other cars as well. But come on, we're a James Bond channel. It has to be the DBS V12, but where do I have the key? Oh my god, there's so many. There you go, mate. Thanks. Let's go. Time to fire this beast up. This is the emotion control unit. That's the key. You put it in the middle of the dash. Put on the brake. Well, she purrs like a kitten. Ooh, angry kitten. And why does it sound so good? Because this is a straight pipe exhaust car. There are no catalytic converters in between, so let's go. It's time to hit the road.
boy.
Oh my gosh. See now, by the way, let me just,
Chicken
people
pox.
can't see this,
Chicken
but I'm drooling.
I have chicken pox. It's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
I don't think
But
you have
still,
chicken pox. You have goosebumps.
goosebumps. Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
the
gosh. That is
good
the
pronunciation.
funniest mistranslation of language I've ever heard. If you did have,
Yeah, I
I'd be
know.
sending you to the hospital.
Yeah.
But
I had them
But
as a kid.
it's so funny too, because I'm watching your face during that. And by the way, the nice thing is we did that on purpose. Obviously, it's a shrunk down version. To see the high res, beautiful version, you've got to see the whole video. And it's
Yep.
only on James Bond Netherlands YouTube channel. Again, the link is down below. I'm going to keep saying that.
Check
But
it out.
I could tell you were getting excited again.
It's that sound of that naturally aspirated V12 6 liters displacement. It's a thing out of space almost. It's such high revving, that V12. And the nicest thing, the craziest thing about this car is that it has a straight pipe exhaust, like our subject, and there are no catalytic converters in between, so she breathes freely, and that's what you hear. It's
Oh
it's,
my
it's
gosh.
just it almost sounds like the old V12 Formula One car. You know?
Yes. And I've got to tell you, the nice thing is, yes, the car, yes, your reaction, yes, the feeling I see when I watch that clip,
Yeah.
but you did this with a team of people. And I want to introduce somebody very special who made this happen. First of all,
Yes.
welcome. Vignesh, how are you, my friend?
Hello there, David. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good. How are you,
Hi,
David?
buddy.
Doing great. Now, tell me the role that you played in this amazing video.
Yeah, I've been watching backstage. I also get chicken pox. Let's call it goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
So it's great. It's just the whole thing is emotion. And if you're editing, well, you create emotions or you evoke emotions in others. So that's what we've been doing for the past months. Actually, you could say years. Due to life circumstances, we had to push the deadline back again and again and again. For both of us, it was really coincident. But we've been like brothers. We've always been like brothers, and we know each other for years. And he said, "Hey, Vignesh, I'm busy with this DBS project. We have done the pre-production. We have done the production with a great team, with Alad Gelings, his dad, Johan, and many others. Jorrit will surely fill in more names." And he had this laying there, and it's gold. It's a treasure. It's just fantastic. And we are going through this, and as filmmakers, both of us, we could see the end result in our mind. We could feel what this could become. So we're like, I know it's going to be a lot of work, but bro, I'm going to help you, and we're going to do something with this. And Jorrit was like, wow, it's great. He just needed this push from me, just to, like Spielberg and Lucas coming together, making this great project.
But I love that it's a shared vision because,
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you're obviously both Bond fans. So, maybe you can take this question, but how much do you channel not just your Bond fandom, but thinking about the Bond fans who are going to be watching this when you think about the creation of this?
This is something so special. It's what Vignesh said. So much emotion is involved, but we have not one Aston Martin in the video, but we have 3 Aston Martins in the video. And I know that you recognize one of those, David, because you have a V12, V8 Vantage.
V8 Vantage, yeah.
Yeah. That's the black car that you see in the clip. And from the experience that it drives like a dream. It's a beautiful car. It's a great car. And bringing that, my passion, our shared passion, to all of you watching, to experience, that's the name of this channel, right? To experience the Bond fandom together. And my passion of cars went way back. I sit in my little kiddie chair with my parents in front of the window, and I was saying car. So that was my first word. It was not dad or mom. It was car. Oh, look, car. So my passion of cars is almost 40 years now. Is 40 years now that I love cars. So that's always what I try to do, and I try to accomplish. To put the cherry on top, we did DB11, we did DB5, and now DBS. So what's next?
Well, yeah, and that's always kind of like the James Bond will return. It's like James Bond Netherlands will return. But I was watching this clip, and again, if you haven't watched it, you could even pause this and go watch it and then come back, because this will be a nice continuum of like explaining what happened and how it happened. But who even thought about the camera angles? Because there are a few camera angles, and people get this wrong, and you both got it right, that literally put me behind the wheel, and in some cases behind you, Jorrit,
Yeah,
behind your
that's
shoulder.
true. In the
And I
feature
felt like I was
film,
driving.
that's all it's all my ideas.
Wow.
I'm a director, I'm a producer, and I do it all as a hobby. It sounds crazy, but because it doesn't look like a hobby project,
Yeah.
it's a professional project, and the only thing that we're missing is a professional camera. I filmed this with an
It looked
with an
great.
iPhone. I filmed it with an iPhone
That's insane. I love
and
that,
with
actually.
GoPros. With
Oh,
GoPros. So that's
and
the crazy thing. Yeah.
it is insane. And Veganish, one of the things, as I looked at the editing of this, it's so professional and it feels like a movie. It feels like it transports us. But do you just get a whole series of B-roll and content, and then you have to sort of put it together?
That's a great question, David. Thanks for the compliment. Yeah. So, beside the great camera work of Jorrit, or the direction of Jorrit and the crew, I have brought all these scenes some motion. If you look at it, actually, none of them are really static. So they have the slow zoom in, or they're flowing into another scene. So that's actually the post-production work that I've done, and they are done together. Like how are going to make this motion into each scene and make the transitions go so well, so that it evokes your emotion again.
Yeah.
And I just want to go back to your question about being a Bond fan and loving cars. Well, same here. 40 years old, love Bond. Most of my Wi-Fi codes here are, James Bond names, and I wanted to film my dad as James Bond when I was 16. So I do have a poster. Maybe you can put it in between. I will send you that later. But and I love cars. So we share this interest.
Yeah.
And so it's quite important to, if you want to elevate something, an object, you should make it alive. You should put life into it. You should see it as a creature. So we have really put the DBS as the main character, as if it's our pet, or it's our great horse, So we wanted to show it in motion, but create it as the main character through all these technical possibilities, like the shots, streamlining them, and using the right audio. I mean, they're all original. We have not synthesized anything. But you should put them in the right places. Sometimes if you use the GoPro, you should be a bit creative and put in other audio in between, and elevate it with the music. So it's all emotion, and that's for us very important. And James Bond is emotion. I think we can agree. All of the James Bond fans are these little kids who never lose their spark for inspiration. Their eyes start glowing if they see any part of Bond, and that blood is flowing in myself as well. So and that's just this inspiration that just never stops till the last moment. It's my last breath, you could say. So this inspiration is just really flowing. I just want to flow out. And when I saw these shots, I just go through them, and it's like you have this composition in your mind, like this music piece, and you just see all these notes. And I think Jorrit and I, we just sit together. We say, "Yeah, cut." Cut this scene, paste it to the next one.
Yep.
And say, bro, is it? Yeah. So it's like you could have with two directors, you could have a bit, like this ego struggle, or different opinions that you don't agree upon. But it was such a symbiotic experience. Yeah. It was just fantastic. We complemented each other, and it just we never had any issue. I mean, it was just flowed like water. The whole process from beginning till end. And of course, it took weeks, months
of work.
Months.
It shows in the film, in the final film. It shows how harmonious you were. But I wouldn't be a journalist without asking some of the tough questions.
Please do.
Because I want to also hear, and I think my audience would want to hear, what were some of the challenges? There
Ooh.
must have been issues and snafus and troubles that sometimes came up. What were some of those?
Jorrit, do you want to start first or?
Oh, the craziest things is all the transportation of all those cars to the location. You have to arrange some people to drive them from the lockup to the location, and the location is, by the way, the Lauwman Museum in The Hague, in the Netherlands. It's the biggest private collection of Mr. Lauwman, who is the guy behind some of the Toyota, Lexus, those brands. And that was one challenge, to get the car there, and then you have to have a car with you, because a crew car, and that was very nice of Lexus to sponsor us, the blue car that you see in the shots. So that helped. You can do it with your own car, but if you have a nice SUV where you can film from, where you can transport your crew and all your equipment, that helps. And then, of course, finding all those locations and the challenges, especially filming the sequence that you see at the end of the 2-minute clip, that is filmed on a stretch of road. It was almost sunset, so the colors are lovely, by the way, the sunset colors. And then the challenge to the bravery of Allard and Johan there to stand there near the road, and having an Aston Martin with, I have to look it up, 517 brake horsepower, passing by at almost 120 miles per hour, 200 kph. So don't tell the police. No one is watching. No one is watching.
Now they know. Yeah, a few thousand policemen probably know.
Safety first, kids.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of safety first, that's a great point. So Vignesh, you bring up a great point. Jorrit, were you the stunt driver the whole time?
Yeah, I did everything.
Ooh, that's a lot of trust.
It is, yeah. But there is a lot of trust in the car, because that car wants to drive fast. And that is it's the craziest thing about those sports cars. They are so incredibly well balanced. Yeah. With their suspension settings and circuit settings and damper settings. So they're like a brick on the road. And the faster you go, the more they feel like you feel the connection between you and the car, and you sit very low. You always sit on the ground. You experience that also in your V8. So you're very low. You're almost touching the ground, and that gives you confidence. Of course, I've driven many test cars before, and I also did some high-speed driving, and so yeah. It's not that I'm getting from my Camry into the DBS.
I was going to say, you've been training all your life for this, I feel like. But I will say this as a testimony to what you're saying. Whenever I drive my Aston Martin V8 Vantage, when it goes under a certain, mile per hour, kilometer, it actually shakes. It doesn't like it. It gets very angry. Speaking of angry kitten, it gets very angry. And it's like, what are you doing? And the whole thing shakes. And then I get it up above 35 and then 40 and then 60. And it's like, we're getting better. And then 80 and 85. And it's like, okay, I love you again.
And then you talk to the police, do this, and then you put it to 100 and you feel, oh, it's flying.
Exactly. All right. So I have to ask, and Vignesh said this very well. So we're going to start with him. You work on this project for months. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of passion. It's a lot of enjoyment. But now, thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of Bond fans are going to be watching this video. What does that mean to you, to have so many people sharing the enjoyment of this?
I'm so happy. I'm so incredibly happy, because finally we can show it. After so many months, we recorded it, I think, almost a year ago. We recorded this video, and we had a lot of challenges in between. And then I went to Vignesh and said, "Come on, help me, please, because it's so much." You have to imagine this. I've written the script. I've done the pre-production. I went on location scouting. I gathered my crew. I gathered the Lexus, the location, everything. And then the filming, which we did in 2 days. And we went from The Hague to almost to Belgium, near one of the craziest towns in the Netherlands called
Yeah.
Baarle-Nassau, where it's surrounded by Belgium. So there's a lot of history. And then we filmed there. And then we went back to my place. And then we went back to The Hague. So we did it all in 2 days. And it was so demanding, especially for those guys behind the camera, like Allard Geerlings, my best mate, and my father, who filmed, Jan, who filmed the scenes, and he's over 70. So you have to imagine
Amazing.
that.
Yeah.
And then everything that you have to film, it was all written down. We did a shot list, so that helped Allard and Jan a
Nice.
lot to see what we had to film. But then the creative standpoint, the view to see if it works or if it doesn't work,
Right.
and especially those scenes at the tunnel, at the bridge with the high speed, and the shots that you're going to see in our Q branch lockup. There are scenes that are those shots. You have to have a good photographic and film mind to see those images. And
Yeah,
to
there's
put
some
them on.
very special moments there.
Yeah.
And Vignesh, as the editor, you are the person that, takes the baby after the mother gives birth and then has to sort of dress it and put it together. Now, as we have this going, people are about to watch the finished video. What goes through your mind?
That's a great question, David. And I would like to go back to your previous question about the challenges. I think maybe it's nice if I just could say something short about it.
Please.
There are many fantastic baby, darlings in the whole feature, even though it's short. So it's almost like a mini motion picture.
Yeah.
And we have real jewels in the crown, right, Jorrit?
Oh,
you
yeah.
see that?
Oh.
Yeah, like, that was coming. One of them is actually in the shot that you just shown, David, the 2-minute version. You have to see that is, finally getting into the DBS, and he's going to start the car. He's going to drive away. But you could do this in a very linear, boring way. He just goes into, starts the car and goes away. But he's like, no, we're going to make this explosive. We're going to stretch this out. We're going to
To the maximum.
push the envelope. So how are we going to do this? So I'm like, I'm also a composer. So I hear this, I see these scenes as music in my mind. And I'm like, we're going to cut to black. We're going to put silence in between. We're going to build up the music. We're going to build up the refs. We're going to go, we're going to make people crazy, but just in a few seconds. But I think that was one of the longest scene to end. I mean, with hours and hours went into those shots, because if you miss a millisecond, it's like a joke. It's like it just goes. It just goes out of the flow. So please watch it a few times.
And the thing is, when you go to black, when you go to black and you have silence in your film, that is something that is so hard to do, because you have to keep the attention, you have to feel the vibe, the build up, the emotion, the at the edge of your seat, and then it's silence and it's black, and then the raw of the V12 comes alive.
And please listen to the audio with good headphones or good sound system, because I have spent weeks on the audio, because we are working with limited materials. The GoPros and the iPhones. I mean, they're great. We had much worse things in the past. I mean, they're great, but there had to be done a lot of color grading. The many highlights were blown out, but next one we're gonna do better. But so there was much challenges to match the scenes, to color grade, but also to fix the audio, because there was a lot of noise around it. We want to bring up the pure audio of the DBS and the voice of Jorrit, which are the two main subjects audio-wise. So many hours, I guess weeks and months has gone into that. So please listen with good headphones. Make
or
us
on your
So-
5.0. Yes, on your Dolby Atmos systems, or the things that you have for your television. Put it on your Apple TV or your Google Chromecast and watch it.
Exactly. So those were the challenges a bit that I could come up, and there are many more, and of course the time that went into it. I guess now, David, I think if you really want to feel happy, if you want to feel fulfilled, you should do something for yourself first. And we really did this for our own hearts, for our own soul, and we are so happy with this. And I'm sure that energy, will radiate out to all the fans.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a perfect way to put it.
Why isn't it a great? It might be a great idea to come to your place and film a video with your V8 Vantage. We would love to come. We would love to come over. That
Make a
would
trek
be
to the
something.
States. We'll
Wow.
find a bunch of things to do. That would be amazing. It's so funny too, because I was going to sort of ask, like, all right, how do you even top this? But I think if we start out in the collection and
Yeah.
then do the Vantage, and maybe we could arrange even a few other vehicles, we could make it
Yeah.
a Bond day.
Yeah, why not? Why
Well,
not?
David, I don't think we should talk about topping anything. They're like brothers and sisters. They're all fantastic.
Oh no, it's if it's like kids, I do have a favorite.
Yeah.
Out of my two kids. Yeah. No, there's always a favorite.
I got it.
Don't
Don't tell
let
them.
anybody think that they're equal. Anyway, listen, enough of this.
Yeah.
What a wonderful discussion. I could talk to these two gentlemen all day, but more importantly, down below and in here,
Watch
we've
it.
got links galore. Sit tight for the premiere, grab yourself a drink. It's under 12 minutes, the whole film. You could do
McKellen.
it at lunchtime. McKellen's good,
Whoa.
rum is good, whatever
Yep.
it takes, glass of milk, it doesn't matter. The excitement's going to come from within. But Jorrit, Vignesh, thank you so much for putting this
Thank you.
together. And
Thank you,
for
David.
coming on.
Thank you.
Great having you, by the way. Having you all.
Thanks for
Thank you
having us.
so much for all the attention and sharing the passion for our project.
Always. Your passion is my passion. And with that, I've been David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. We'll see you all real soon. Take care.
Angry cat.
Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.